Frankie Mermaid. I have a question. I just want to say it's an honor right now that you're in front of my face. Why exactly do they call you Frankie Mermaid?
Because I'm swimming in all these bricks.
Another question, Frankie Mermaid. What is your advice to the younger generation?
Put away that Fortnite and build hard.
Frankie Mermaid, it's an honor.
What the heck is this all about? What are you doing here, and why are you in my video?
You look like a loser. You don't even have your pants on.
Wait, what?
Oh.
I'm sorry, guys. I had a really bad dream.
Hey, what's poppin', boys and girls? It's me, Ty, and in today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to make this Lego mock look like this.
Now, you don't have to be the popular kid in school. You don't have to be that one kid who brings the Capri Sun and gets all the girls. You don't have to be that guy. Whether you're new to building or you've had some experience, I'm gonna talk about 10 ways that you can level up your Lego creations. Now, some of the tips I'm gonna give in this video, I've kind of already covered like in the past, but I'm actually gonna be applying these tips, a lot of them, to an actual legit build. Now, my first tip is to always aim small. Now, when I was a little boy, I wanted to make all these crazy big Lego creations. Like, I always dreamed of making this huge military base where I can play with my friends and have like a giant like military battle attack, but it never fell through. And the reason for that was because it was just such a big project I had envisioned in my mind. I never got to build it. Work within your strengths and try to build something that's small and that's reachable within your goals, because big builds, they just take way too long. They're overwhelming, they drain motivation, they require way too many parts, and it's really hard to focus on detail when you're making something so big. But it's an important tip to consider and always start off with. Now, for my next tip, this involves color. Now, I've talked about color and oh my gosh, every time the frickin' cuckoo clock goes off when I film my videos. But what makes color so important, why I talk about it a lot, is because it creates the mood for your build. But in this case, I just wanted to create like a fun little outpost, like something that would be from a pirate movie. I just wanted something fun and enjoyable and happy and bright. So because of that, I wanted certain colors to really pop out. Like I used some of these aqua blue plates as well as some dark plates to just kind of make the water look like it's fading into a deeper zone. Even though regular green can sometimes be an annoying color because of how bright it is, in this case it adds a tropical essence to this build. Now, when I'm making a certain section of a build, I like to stick to around 3 or 4 colors. 2 of them I usually like to have as base colors, and the other 2 I like to have as accent colors. So in the case of the actual building, I used white and brown as my base colors. Those are the colors that set the tone, but to give the little extra pops of color, I also added some dark orange and some olive green. Color is really important, and that brings me to my next point, which is create illusions. And using specific pieces in general can give off certain effects. For example, using olive green gives off the look that there's moss growing off of the side of the building. And then for the dark orange, it gives off the effect that there's like rust or corrosion or dirtiness. For the case of the water, I use transparent pieces to give it a shiny, glossy, reflecting look, like how water should be. And since palm trees are kind of spiky, I used these slope pieces on the sides to make it look like that. And a final detail involves the planks, the floorboards. I didn't even connect them down all the way because I wanted them to sort of spike up a little bit, and that gives the illusion that the flooring is all just worn out and old. And in the long run, these are all subtle gestures that really add a powerful effect to your build. And one of the greatest illusions is texture. If you don't know what that word really means, or if you don't fully grasp it, texture is like just how you want the surface area of your builds to look. And your greatest friend for texture is going to be these little dudes, studs. Now, there's certain pieces that are great for giving off certain textured looks. Primarily plates, jumper plates are also great. Even some of these eyelet bricks for having studs stick out of the side of a wall. And the opposite of that is adding smoothness. And by adding smoothness, you can use tiles, smooth slopes. Texture is really dependent on how many studs and tiles you throw into your builds. Using a mix of tiles and plates for the roof adds depth, and it also gives it sort of a rugged, worn out look. About a year ago, I used to want to just flatten everything in my build. I wanted to put tiles on every single thing. But I've come to learn this past year that throwing in studs isn't always a bad idea either. Another great thing to consider when you're building is emphasis. What parts of your build do you want to be the most proud of? What do you enjoy the most about your build? Or what do you want to really stand out the most? Now, that's an important question because those things that you answer with, those are the things that you want to put a lot of time into building. For example, I went the extra mile and I spent like 30 minutes just on this palm tree, but using these slope pieces gives off a nice trunk look. And creating this palm tree, it's like adding cherry on top of ice cream. It just adds a little pop of flavor to your build. But in the long run, if you emphasize certain parts of your build, that's gonna make your build just really super fly. Minifigures, accessories, printed pieces, animals, those are all great things to include in your build. Now, when I was a little boy, I always wanted to just play with my minifigs. I wanted all these really super cool accessories, and I would always like reenact battles or like crazy stories happening, like
Attack the tower! Charge! Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew.
you know, that type of stuff. And, you know, that was fun. You know, those were the vibes as a kid. And, you know, basically, I'm asking you to be like a kid for once in your life. Like, grab out those cool minifigs and throw them into your build. Reenacting scenes with minifigs really adds stories to your build. The build itself is a story, but when you add minifigs, it's like a story inside of a story. It just really adds, you know, fun to your build. For example, this guy is handcuffed. Like, I don't know, maybe he used an illegal building technique. Maybe he's just too cool. Like, it makes you wonder more about the build. Like, why is this guy handcuffed? Another great trick is using small pieces. Now, big pieces, they're like training wheels on a bike. They're great for if you're trying to just, you know, finish off a certain part of a build. They're simple, they're easy, you know, they just get the job done. But if you want to focus on the little itty bitty details and you feel like you're at a good place where you can do that, then using small pieces is always a great option. Let's say you have a bunch of 1x2 bricks versus a bunch of 1x6 bricks. Which ones would you pick? Personally, I would pick the 1x2s because if I needed to make a small wall, well, the 1x6 bricks wouldn't be able to do that. So using smaller pieces will allow more flexibility. It will help you build in smaller areas. And if you make a mistake, no big deal. You can just take off small itty bitty pieces that need adjustments. And in my case, I used small pieces to give off the effect of cool texture. You can see tiny gaps in between the individual pieces, and it gives the effect of brickwork. So that's another pro of using small pieces. But anyway, you get the point. Small pieces, they're very nice to work with, and in the long run, they're gonna make your build a lot more detailed and realistic. Another great trick is style. So when you build, you want to consider the time frame, the theme, the form of architecture, all the things that could sort of connect together when you build. In the case of this build, I wanted to aim after something that would be from a pirate movie. So including the old weaponry, like the spears and the muskets, having the small boat, having the old maps and the worn down wood, the flags, all that together, the campfire, the trees, all that together screams the name of sort of the theme around pirates. And just considering the overall style that you're looking for in your build is really important. It's also really important to diversify. Experiment with new techniques and just don't stay uniform unless for a specific purpose. I use tons of plant designs in this build. Having mushrooms, all that together brings out variation in your build, and that's what you are going to want in the long run. Towards the end of a build, when I'm done with the overall design, I just like to splash in a lot of fun little eye-catching features that people would often miss. And that in the long run is a huge part of diversifying. And that brings me to my final point, which is the very opposite of diversity, and it's using certain patterns. And I want to give a big thanks to Sacred Bricks because I was on a call with him and he gave me this tip. I owe him 2,000 subscribers because I lost a bet with him, so if you could kindly do so, please subscribe to Sacred Bricks. Using patterns is, in a way, keeping a build sort of uniform, I guess you could say. Now, it's a huge misconception to think that patterns are the same as repetition. That's not true. Patterns deal with using certain combinations of parts, while repetition is just using the same one piece or the same one technique over and over and over again. For example, on the outside of this house, there's these wall assemblies, but they're all different in a way, but they have a similar pattern in that they have similar pieces and similar colors, but in the long run, the way I laid them out is different. So if that makes sense, then that can serve you well.
Excuse me, Captain, but I've spotted a hater.
Oh, a hater? Where?
Oh, great, you gotta be kidding me.
Instant
One of
dislike.
those trolls. Just
I hate
don't
this
worry about it.
video,
He's
TV
gonna
bricks.
keep
You
spamming the
suck.
comments with his hate and his just his hateness, I guess.
But Captain, may I recommend one thing? I believe truly that all the special chickens should comment down below.
Yes, they should do all of that. Actually, that brings me a very important point I was going to make in this video. Thank you very much about that. Make sure you guys go check out the Instagram for any updates about my future videos, because I do lots of updates. Since this is a tip video, this would be a perfect opportunity to just say I offer tips. If you need more help, hop on the Discord and let me know, because I can talk to you personally. Make sure you leave a juicy comment down below and let me know how you thought. I'm gonna catch you on the flippity flop. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, keep on building, and stay spicy.